Welcome to this podcast from Stratfor, leader in global intelligence.
After 2 days of meetings, China and the United States talk hopefully about leading the global economy out of recession. But the so-called strategic and economic dialogue remains just that, a dialogue at which hopefully groundwork has been laid for more cooperation in the future, but with both countries struggling to bridge many gaps. Welcome to Stratfor, I'm Colin Chapman. As the author Robert Louis Stevenson once wrote, it's better to travel hopefully than to arrive, and the true success is to labour. What is absolutely clear from the remarks of US Secretaries Clinton and Geithner and their Chinese counterparts is that both sides intend to travel hopefully on the economy, putting in a great amount of labour. One accomplishment at the talks was that both sides agreed they need to reset their economies so that China is much less dependent on exports for growth and that the United States, as Mr. Geithner put it, learns to live within its means both as a country and at household level. These goals are easier said than done and involve a great deal of work, but progress on both will allow at least some of the tensions between America and China to evaporate, allowing them to travel hopefully towards ironing out other issues. These issues include climate change, nuclear proliferation, and world security. The two sides signed a protocol on climate change, but without setting any firm goals. There'll be cooperation on developing green products and pushing new technologies. But with just a few months to go until the United Nations Copenhagen Summit on a successor to the Kyoto protocols, there is no agreement on the really contentious issues such as carbon emissions and tariffs and taxes on those emissions. On nuclear proliferation, both sides declared that they don't want to see Iran with nuclear arms, but North Korea remains an even more pressing issue. China believes Washington's tough stance on Pyongyang could destabilize an important customer, so procrastination is palpable. For America, there's also China's potential role in international counter-terrorism efforts in places like Afghanistan and Pakistan. Washington would like Beijing to stop sitting on the sidelines and become more active. This is the so-called responsible stakeholder approach first put forward by the then Deputy Secretary of State Robert Zoellick in 2005. In short, Washington wants China to act like the global player it's claiming to be, taking on the same risks as others do. The fact that these issues are raised at all, of course, is progress. It couldn't have happened only a few years back. But neither country is in any way static. As China fights to restart its economy, Beijing has to face increasing unrest in various places, some of them unexpected ones. This week, the privatization of a state steel company had to be halted after angry workers, fearful of their jobs, beat the manager of a private company in talks about a takeover to death. At the other extreme, the success of recent public offerings on the stock market have surprised even the optimists, and there are fears of another bubble. In the United States, there are now frequent bouts of good news, punctuated by new concerns, while President Barack Obama has his hands full with domestic issues like health, as well as the long-standing international ones. So, in assessing the China-US dialogue, the old Taoist proverb rings as true as the Stevenson quote, "The journey is the reward." Let's hope so. And you can read a full analysis of the talks under the heading Points of Contention During a New Dialogue on our website right now at www.stratfor.com. I'm Colin Chapman. Thanks for joining me today. Marla will be back with you tomorrow.